My name is Courtney, and I am very passionate about helping women, well, men too, but mostly women with invisible illnesses. You know, side note, it's going to be one of those nights. But truly, I have so much empathy for men who deal with chronic pain because I'm a woman and it's okay for me to show weakness, but it's not. I know guys, actually, I know a couple of veterans, very manly, masculine men, and they have fibromyalgia or similar issues. And I know what the social pressure is like on me. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what men go through. Anyway, that's a total side note. Forgiveness. I gotta tell y'all, I struggle with forgiveness. I can hold a grudge, and I have a really bad habit of hanging on to anger because I get very self righteous and how dare you. They dared. They dared. So why in the hell hold on to it? It's so silly. Um, but this information, whoops, I had a dog under my feet and he just moved. Dang it. I should have made him move before because now I feel too far away. Anyway, here's a great quote. And I know I'm going to mispronounce this lady's name, so I apologize in advance. But I love this quote so much. I saw it on a commercial actually, and I had to look it up and grab the quotation for myself. Today, I decided to forgive you, not because you apologized or because you acknowledged the pain that you caused me, but because my soul deserves peace. I think that is so beautiful. And you know what? It's true. Forgiveness, it doesn't really have anything to do with the other person. It's about you. It's about taking your power back. It's about letting that go so you can move on. Because really, if someone's a complete jackass, why do we hold on to that? Put it past you. Get them in the rearview mirror and just keep going forward. But it's easy to carry a grudge. Forgiveness is hard, but it's also really empowering. Did I tell you this information is from the Mayo Clinic? Because if I didn't, this information is from the Mayo Clinic. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting evening. What does it mean to forgive somebody? What is it? And that's going to be different for everybody. Emotions are very personal, obviously, but essentially, it means you're choosing to let go of the resentment and the anger and the revenge fantasies. And I gotta tell y'all, that's that's where I shine. I come up with, things that I'm just like, because I think of myself as a genuinely nice person. So yeah, when I get these revenge fantasies, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, Courtney, where the hell did that come from? But you know what? We all have a mean streak. We all have a dark side. And I'm probably not the only one who has their dark side come out with revenge fantasies. But if we can learn to forgive people, it can lead to empathy and compassion for the person who hurt you. Now, I know that may not be what you want, but don't you think, truly, don't you think that's a better way to approach the whole matter? If somebody's really hurt you, there's something wrong. Hurt people, right? Normal people don't run around trying to hurt other people. They just don't. Most people, it doesn't excuse what they did, but most people are just doing the best that they can with the skills that they have available. Okay, maybe their skill set sucks, but most people don't set out to screw up their lives. And let's face it, people like that, they're not usually very happy. Why? Have empathy for that. Have empathy for somebody being so miserable that they just have to lash out at others. They have to try to drag other people to their level. That's really sad. Or the people who are so hurt they won't let anybody else get close. It's sad. You don't have to live that way. But you got to learn how to forgive. It's about taking your power back. It's about moving on. It's not about excusing their behavior. It's about you. Some of the benefits that you'll get from forgiveness, you're going to have better relationships, so healthier relationships. you're going to have better mental health because you're not going to sit there and ruminate because you've let it go. Ruminating is not good for your mental health because you know as well as I do, when you start ruminating, you go down into a dark place pretty damn fast. Why? That's a choice. It can be hard. You for me, I can recognize that I'm making that choice. It can be really hard for me to decide to get out of that choice. And a lot of times it's like, okay, this is a choice. Yes, it damn well is. And this is my choice right now, but at least I recognize it. So I guess, I guess that's some progress, but it is good for your mental health. It lowers your stress. It lowers your anxiety. It lowers feelings of hostility, which is going to help with those revenge fantasies. It lowers your blood pressure. It lessens depression symptoms. And I'll tell you from experience, if you're carrying around a bunch of anger at other people, you're probably pretty depressed because you're bombarding yourself with negativity. So learn to let that stuff go. It's going to help with your depression. It's going to boost your immune system. Isn't that cool? We could all use that. I mean, with good grief, the world's gone crazy with illnesses, and it's so hard to tell what's hype and what's not, and what's true and what's not. So learn to forgive. It's so good for you in so many ways, including boosting your immune system. It improves your heart health. It's good for your self-esteem. Well, sure, because you're taking your power back. Now, the effects of a grudge. You drag that resentment into every relationship. It's not fair to if you choose to start a friendship or whatever with somebody, you don't have any right to impose upon them a judgment based on what other people have done to you. That's so unfair. You're sentencing them for a crime they've never committed. You need to learn to forgive the other people so that you can be more open with the new relationships that you want to create. And you can get so caught up in the wrongness of what they did to you that you forget to enjoy your life. I've seen this happen, unfortunately, a few times in my life where somebody, whether it be the husband or the wife or even the boyfriend or girlfriend, but after the split, one of them moves on and the other doesn't for a long time. And they get so caught up in I'm not at all saying that what happened to them wasn't terribly wrong, but they get so caught up in the wrongness of it. The other person's moved on. They're making themselves pretty happy. Whether they deserve it or not's irrelevant. They're doing it. And some people choose to just focus on their anger and the wrongness. You can't do that to yourself. This brings about a lot of depression and anxiety. It gives you a loss of connectedness, and it can leave you feeling like you don't have a purpose because you can't really have healthy relationships with anybody if you can't learn to forgive and let go. You can't carry grudges all the time against everybody, for goodness sakes. So how do you forgive? This stuff is hard. Okay. I truly am. I'm a kind person. I try to genuinely see the best in people. People that I work with know that they can come to me and I'm going to have something positive and sincere to say. Even if they don't have great advice for their situation, I'm going to help them feel better about themselves. And I take a lot of pride in that. That being said, I have a hard time forgiving people. I have a hard time forgiving people because I get caught up in the wrongness of it. So you need to understand this is not an easy task. It's not easy. It's not easy even for someone like me who is very generous and loving towards people. But you need to know the value of forgiveness in your life. It's not about them. The forgiveness has very little to do with them. You need to be aware, and this might sound silly, but sometimes you can hold on to a grudge for a really long time and you kind of forget what you were really pissed about in the first place. So you need to become aware of what exactly it is that you need to forgive them for. And then you need to accept your emotions about what they did and the impact of what they did to you. And then you need to do the work to release them. It's not easy, but it's also not hard because at the end of the day, you know what it comes down to? It's a choice. It's both that easy and that difficult. It's not an easy choice to make. It is so much easier to stay angry and to stay hurt. But when you do that, that person has control over you. That person still has a tremendous amount of influence over you. Why are we giving crappy people influence over our lives? Just don't. Forgiveness means that you're no longer a victim. Forgiveness means, I keep saying it, but it means you're empowered. It means it's your life, and that's fine. You don't like me? Bye. Move on. Take your BS and go bother somebody else. You're not my problem anymore. If you have to, go get some counseling. Because bitterness, any really difficult, unpleasant emotions that we don't process, it can cause a lot of problems in our lives. And I'm giggling because, yeah, I know this for a fact. If you're struggling to forgive somebody, try to see the situation from their perspective. And you know what? Sometimes maybe the perspective is just that they're a jackass. But if you can see it from that perspective, well, they can't help it. That's just they're a jackass. To me, that's beneficial in helping let it go. Well, okay, they are just a jackass, so why do I care what that person thinks? Bye. You could also think about the times that you've needed forgiveness, because I guarantee you there's been a lot of times in your life that you have needed a little bit of grace and a little bit of forgiveness, and somebody's offered it to you. So you need to return that to the world. You owe that. You do. You can journal. Journals are so freaking amazing for this stuff. Pray about it. Talking to God can be really cathartic. It helps me a lot. If I stop stuttering, I can really get some clarity if I get into the right mindset with my prayer. And it's really amazing. It's a great feeling when I do it. Try it. What do you got to lose? It doesn't cost you nothing. Meditate about it. But you got to do something. You can't carry it around, because that person, they're not worth it. And you know how you know they're not worth it? Because if it's a really horrible thing that they did to you, you need to forgive them, because you probably, oh, damn it, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I hate that. I did. It's gone. I had something good too, and it's completely gone. Dang it. But you need to know it's a process. It's not one and done. At least not in my experience. But you know what I have learned? It's not one and done, but every time I have to forgive somebody, it comes back less. The pain's less the next time it arises. So it's not a one and done. It's everything's a process, especially if you're just learning how to deal with this stuff. But we need to quit giving crappy people any power in our lives. It's not worth it. Anyway, that's all I have. I got to tell y'all, I don't even know what to say about the last couple of weeks. I went into, I'm kind of seeing a different osteopathic clinic. I feel like I'm cheating on my doctor. But they do a different kind of work. My main osteo clinic does a lot of deep fascia work, which I love, and it's really beneficial. And these guys have a very different approach. But yesterday I went in and we were talking about how, I spoke too soon. I was like, I actually been feeling pretty good in spite of all this anxiety and being so tired. And then, boy, last night it just exploded, and it's been a hell of a day. But you know what? I still got up and I made the best of my day, because, like forgiveness, it's a choice. You know how much easier it would be for me to sit here and feel sorry for myself all day? But do you know what kind of mood I would be in by 5 o'clock at night if I sat here and felt sorry for myself all day? I sure as hell wouldn't be in the mood to sit here and giggle and smile. So anyway, I'm off topic again. Surprise. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to go and get comfortable and Yeah, do a whole lot of nothing actually, because I am that tired. But I hope you all have a great weekend. Look, I am certainly not an expert on forgiveness, but I do have a lot of resources on this kind of thing. So if you are struggling with this, drop me a line on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. I try to be very responsive, and have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday at 5 o'clock Alaska time.